Hello students, welcome to DPS Siliguri online class day 5. In day 4, you learn about one important effect of revolution of planet Earth, that is change of seasons. Along with that, you learn about solstice and equinox, and you learn summer solstice in details. So today I will explain about winter solstice, spring equinox and autumnal equinox. So every year on 22nd of December, sun rays fall directly on Tropic of Capricorn. This time, southern hemisphere tilted maximum towards the sun. This is called winter solstice. So, what is winter solstice? On 22nd December, sun rays fall directly on Tropic of Capricorn and southern hemisphere tilted towards the sun. This date is recognized as a winter solstice. So, during this time, largest part of southern hemisphere receives direct sunlight, which results summer season in southern hemisphere. The reverse happens in northern hemisphere, as the northern hemisphere away from the sun, it receives slanting sun rays, which result in winter season in northern hemisphere. On 22nd December, northern hemisphere experiences shortest day and longest night, whereas southern hemisphere experiences longest day and shortest night. During this time, South Pole experiences day for continuous 6 months and North Pole experiences night for continuous 6 months. And the countries are located in southern hemisphere experiences summer, and in northern hemisphere experiences winter during winter solstice. Next is spring equinox. The meaning of equinox is equal day and night. So during 21st of March, every year sun rays fall directly on the equator. As you know, the equator divides the earth into two equal halves. Due to that, the length of day and night equal throughout the earth during this time. This is known as spring equinox. So, what is spring equinox? On 21st of March, sun rays fall directly on the equator and length of day and night equal throughout the earth. This date is known as spring equinox. On this date, sun shines directly overhead at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. That's why it is also known as vernal equinox. Again, on 23rd of September every year, sun rays fall directly on the equator, and all the latitudes of the earth are at equal distances from the sun, and due to that, length of day and night is equal in both the hemisphere. That means on 23rd September we have 12 hours day and 12 hours night. This is called autumnal equinox. So, what is autumnal equinox? On 23rd of September, sun rays fall directly on the equator and length of day and night is equal throughout the earth. This is known as autumnal equinox. So, you learn due to the revolution of the earth and tilted axis, sometime northern hemisphere is closer to the sun and sometime southern hemisphere, and sometime both the hemisphere gets equal sun rays. That means the distance between the sun and north pole and south pole is equal. All this happen because of the axis and orbit of the earth. So on 21st of June, northern hemisphere is closer to the sun and southern hemisphere is away from the sun, and during this time north pole gets sunlight and south pole is away from the sun. And on 21st of June, the length of day is maximum, or north pole experiences longest day and shortest night, and south pole experiences shortest day and longest night. And it is summer in northern hemisphere and it is winter in southern hemisphere. Then on 23rd of September, sun rays fall directly over the equator, and on this date length of day and night is equal in both the hemisphere, as because equator divide the earth into northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere, and on this date equator gets vertical sun rays. That's why the length of day and night is equal in both the hemisphere. Again on 22nd of December, southern hemisphere came closer to the sun, and this time northern hemisphere is away from the sun. So Tropic of Capricorn gets direct sun rays on 22nd of December, and southern hemisphere experiences longest day and shortest night. And during this time, as the northern hemisphere away from the sun, they experiences shortest day and longest night. During this time, south pole gets continuous sun rays for 6 months and north pole experiences continuous night for 6 months. And during this time, northern hemisphere experiences winter and southern hemisphere experiences summer. Again on 21st of March, equator gets direct sun rays. That means again the length of day and night is equal in both the hemisphere. So on 21st of March, equator gets direct sun rays. That's why the length of day and night is equal. That means 12 hours day and 12 hours night in northern and southern hemisphere. So in this chapter you learn about the rotation of the earth. So, what is rotation of the earth? When planet Earth rotates on its axis, that is called rotation. Then you learn about the axis of the earth. So, axis is an imaginary line which connecting North Pole and South Pole through the center of the earth. And earth takes around 24 hours to complete one rotation, and earth rotates from west to east. Then you learn about the effects of rotation. Due to rotation, day and night causes. The portion which is facing the sun experiences day, and the portion away from the sun experiences night. Then you learn about circle of illumination. Circle of illumination is an imaginary line which separate day and night. Another effect is shape of the earth. Shape of the earth is geoid, as because top and bottom part is flat and middle part is bulging. But it happens due to the rotation, as because the speed of rotation is minimum near the pole and maximum near the equator. Then you learn about the revolution of the earth. So, what is revolution? When planet earth revolves around the sun in a fixed path, that is called revolution. Earth takes around 365 days and 6 hours to complete one revolution. And the earth revolves around the sun in a fixed path, that is called orbit, and the orbit of the earth is elliptical, and due to that the distance between earth and sun is not same throughout the year. Sometime distance is minimum and sometime distance is maximum. So every year on 4th of July, distance between earth and sun is maximum. It is about 152 million kilometers, and this date is known as aphelion. And on 4th of January every year, distance between earth and sun is minimum. It is about 147 million kilometers, and this date is known as perihelion. After that, you learn about the effects of revolution. So, due to revolution, length of day and night is not same throughout the year, and also season changes due to revolution. So, length of day and night is not uniform. It is because sometime northern hemisphere is closer to the sun and sometime southern hemisphere is closer to the sun. That's why the length of day and night is not same. While the North Pole is closer to the sun, length of day is maximum and night is minimum in northern hemisphere. Similarly, when southern hemisphere is closer to the sun, during that time length of day is maximum and night is minimum in southern hemisphere, and opposite happens in northern hemisphere. So, as because of that, the duration of day and night is not uniform throughout the year. Due to the revolution and tilted axis, season changes. When northern hemisphere is closer to the sun, during that time northern hemisphere experiences summer and southern hemisphere experiences winter, and length of day is maximum and night is minimum in northern hemisphere, and in southern hemisphere length of night is maximum and day is minimum. So this season is called summer season. Then during autumn season, both the hemisphere gets equal amount of sun rays. Neither any hemisphere tilted or away. So that's why length of day and night is equal in both the hemisphere, and this is called autumn. Then southern hemisphere is closer to the sun and northern hemisphere is far from the sun, and due to that southern hemisphere experiences summer and northern hemisphere experiences winter, and the length of day is maximum and night is minimum in southern hemisphere, and length of day is minimum and night is maximum in northern hemisphere. It's known as winter season. Next, again, during spring season, the length of day and night is equal, as because during this time both the hemisphere getting equal amount of sun rays, and it is called spring season. After that, you learn rotation not only causes change of seasons but also it forms solstice and equinox. So what is equinox? When the length of day and night is equal, that is called equinox, and when northern hemisphere or southern hemisphere experiences longest day and shortest night, or opposite, that is called solstice. So we have two solstice and two equinox, summer solstice and winter solstice, and also spring equinox and autumnal equinox. Every year on 21st of July, sun rays fall directly on Tropic of Cancer, and length of day is maximum and night is minimum in northern hemisphere. This is called summer solstice. During this time, southern hemisphere experiences shortest day and longest night, and northern pole experiences continuous day for 6 months, and southern pole experiences continuous night for 6 months. Then winter solstice. So on 22nd of December, sun rays fall directly over Tropic of Capricorn, and southern hemisphere is tilted maximum towards the sun. During this time, length of day is maximum and night is minimum in southern hemisphere. This is known as winter solstice, while the length of day is minimum and night is maximum in northern hemisphere, and north pole experiences continuous night for 6 months and south pole experiences continuous day for 6 months. Then on 23rd of September, both the hemisphere get equal amount of sun rays, as because sun rays fall directly on equator. So that's why the length of day and night is equal in both the hemisphere, and this is known as autumnal equinox. And similarly, on 21st of March, again sun rays fall vertically on the equator, and length of day and night is equal in both the hemisphere, and this is known as spring equinox. So all these things you learn in this chapter.